Ed, how are you?
Hi, Charlie. I'm good. Thank you.
Very, very good, very good. Eh, It's still cold here. I'm
Whoa.
about to, uh, I'm about to complain.
Today we have we have snowed outside. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes, maybe it's very cold outside. Yeah.
yeah. Us
Yeah.
too. It's 27. Let's see. It's 27 Fahrenheit, which is about minus three, minus
Minus
three,
three. Yeah, maybe.
which is really cold for here. It's not supposed to be that cold ever
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, but I
But
see you don't wear a lot. Yeah.
I don't have a lot. My wife was just she was just complaining because you don't have any clothes for this weather. And I'm still wearing a t-shirt, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm supposed to stay out of this. That's why I have this house on wheels. But we also don't want to drive
Yeah.
in the bad weather with
Yeah,
this
yeah, it's so
bus. That would be
dangerous.
bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And in about 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks on the 10th, we drive further closer to California. We're going to go almost to the California border to
California,
a place called Lake Havasu, and
Lake Harvey,
it's an Indian. Yeah, it's an Indian word, and it means like blue green.
blue
Lake Havasu.
green.
So it's a beautiful blue green lake,
So
and
I don't know what it is.
it's just a big lake, and
Big lake. No.
uh, it's called Lake Havasu. Is the name of the lake. Lake
Lake what
Havasu.
is lake?
Yeah, there you go, Lake Havasu.
Okay, I know that. Okay,
And
lake. It's water lake.
yeah, do you
Right.
know? Have you ever heard in England a long time ago they had London Bridge? Have you ever heard of that bridge?
London
London
Bridge.
Bridge.
Maybe I heard about it.
It's very old. Well, what they did though was the 1960s. England
1960.
wanted to sell. Yeah, they wanted to sell the bridge. They wanted to get rid
Sell
of
the
it.
bridge.
It's in London.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
want to buy it?
So
Who want to buy it?
some rich guy in Arizona bought it and
Oh,
moved it brick by brick to Lake Havasu. So they rebuilt London Bridge
okay.
in Lake Havasu. If you Google it, it will you'll think that's pretty funny.
Okay.
So we go there in about 10 days.
10 days. Wow, it's a long trip. Okay, let's
Oh, it'll
go to the lesson. Today
yeah.
lesson is
I was going to ask you.
going on a road trip.
Yeah, that's
Lesson
always my
30,
lesson. Uh,
lesson 33.
okay, let me see if I can
I show
because
you I show you the link.
my
Yeah.
mine
I,
keeps going back and forth. I've got how appropriate going on a road trip, right? For me, I'm always going on a road trip. So,
yeah.
all right, I'll be Dorothy again
Okay. I be
to
Kevin.
start. Kevin, are you ready to hit the road?
Yes, let's pack up and start our road trip.
Long distance travel can be boring, but I'm glad we're going together.
Me too. Are we going to drive on the highway?
Yes, it's a toll road, so I need to make sure we have some cash.
I have some. Can we make a pit stops along the way? I have small blender, later or blender,
Bladder,
bladder.
bladder. Huh?
Okay.
There are plenty of rest areas on the highway.
Cool. Rest stop usually have vending machines in case we get hungry or thirsty.
I just hope we don't get stuck in traffic.
I hate traffic. Are we there yet?
Okay, all right.
Okay. So I be Dorothy.
I like this one. Oh,
Okay. Okay. Kevin, are you ready to hit the road?
yes, let's pack up and start our road trip.
Long distance travel can be boring, but I'm glad we are going together.
Me too. Are we going to drive on the
Yes,
highway?
it's toll road, so we need to make sure we have some cash.
I have some. Can we make pit stops along the way? I have a small
Oh,
bladder.
there are plenty of the rest area on the highway.
Cool. Rest stops usually have vending machines in case we get hungry or
Oh, I
thirsty.
just hope we don't get stuck in traffic.
Ugh, I hate traffic. Are we there yet?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there are a lot of vocabulary for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, I would imagine there's a lot. This is pretty unusual, and even some that are not in
Not in
red.
red.
So, like the the small bladder thing. Do you
I checked
understand that?
the bladder before. I know it's how to say how to say oh, um, it's a part in your under your stomach. Yeah,
Yeah, you have to go
yeah,
to the
yeah,
bathroom. That's what they're saying. I have a
yeah,
small
yeah,
bladder. I have to
yeah,
go to
yeah,
the
yeah,
bathroom
yeah.
often. So it's kind of a joke, but it's kind of
Yeah,
not, right?
yeah.
I hope they have a lot of bathrooms. I have a small bladder. So
Okay. So hit the road mean to start traveling. Hit the road, that means
that's right.
you go traveling by driving. So can you hit the road? By plane, can you this?
No, you wouldn't say hit the road for a plane, but anything that rolls like a bus. And people just say it, hit the road, let's go. You could even be walking
Okay.
sometimes. I mean, I think let's hit the road. Anywhere you're going to be
On
on
the
the
ground.
ground,
Oh, okay.
you could say hit the
Hit the
road.
road.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you could even, yeah. So you could say it on a truck or a bus or a car
Bicycle is okay.
or a motor.
Bicycle. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very much.
Pickup, I know this. And toll
Okay.
road. So what's the difference between toll road or highway? In Chinese, we always a highway always a toll road. So the United States, maybe some highway don't need to pay.
Yeah, most roads you don't pay
you don't
in the
pay.
United
Wow.
States. Most of them you don't pay. As a matter of fact, from Texas to here, I haven't paid
In
at all.
China, every highway you need to pay. Yeah.
Really? Well, we pay taxes to build them and to keep them up, but we don't pay them as we drive.
Yeah, we also pay the tax. But we need to.
Yeah, you get twice.
So,
and some places the roads it's very evident that they're not kept up. So they're not maintained.
Okay.
So some roads are bad, but most highways are kept very good, and most highways have no tolls.
Okay.
There are just a few that are famous in New Jersey, outside of New York. They have a very famous toll road. It's long, and in Florida, they have a lot of toll roads. But through the western United States, not much. Maybe some in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area.
Okay, in China, the highway is very expensive. Maybe about 1 kilometer lead hour about how to say half a dollar, half a yuan. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2 kilometers
Yeah.
for 1 yuan. Yeah,
that's yeah.
That's
I mean, but that's what ours are. Ours are like
maybe you know what how it is expensive. In most people in our city, maybe their monthly salary is about 3 or 4,000 yuan 1 year. So 2 kilometers cost 1 yuan.
That's very expensive.
Yeah,
that's very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most you can go from the East Coast to the West Coast of the United States, and theoretically not pay no tolls. You can do it for free.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Pit stop.
Okay, that is a word. That is a phrase that is from automobile racing.
Sorry, I don't get. So what?
It comes from automobile racing.
Pit stop. I don't know.
So when when they race in a circle and they go around and around,
But,
the cars will stop and have their cars worked on real quickly by all the trained mechanics, and then they go back on. That's called a pit.
pit.
And they stop. They do a pit stop. The workers come in, change the tires, and put the oil and gas in, and off the race car goes again and again.
Yeah, I know.
So we just adopted that phrase for driving. Anytime you stop on your road trip,
Yeah.
we call that a pit stop.
So-
We just call it a pit
So
stop.
the pit stop will have some, also have the pigeon station in the pit stop. You can get some pit.
I'm sorry, what?
Maybe you can get the gas. Or
Yeah. In ours, yeah, there are rest stops that we make a pit stop at that you can buy gifts and food and get your gasoline for your car, and
you
you can have a drink.
this.
Petrol is gasoline.
Yeah,
That's gasoline. Yeah.
So you use gasoline, don't you?
That's one of those words.
Okay. Okay, you don't use petrol.
Yeah, it's the same as petrol. It is the same.
Okay.
It's just the American word for petrol.
Okay.
Yeah.
And vending machine. So vending machine is you can buy something in a machine box and insert the coin and choose the goods what you want to buy, and the machine drop the goods and you take it. It's the vending machine.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's exactly it.
So
Like candy or a snack. Yeah.
in China we have a small how to say convenience store in the pit stop, and we don't have the vending machine because in the highway it's more how to say because if you put a vending machine on the highway, maybe in the night somebody maybe to destroy or broke it. Yes.
Yeah. So those are two different things for us. So we have that convenience store, and that's usually at most of the gas stations and where you do a pit stop, right? And then sometimes there are rest stops, and rest stops don't have anybody that works there. They don't sell anything usually.
Rest stop.
They might have a bath. Yeah, they might have a bathroom to go to the bathroom. They are to the restroom, and they might have a table that you can get out and sit down and have something to eat outside if you want. Or just places to walk around, and many people travel with their dog, or so there might be a place to walk your dog and let your dog have a break. Okay. And those places usually have vending machines.
Okay.
And you've made a very good point. They are usually behind bars, so nobody can break them and try to steal the money. Okay. They're usually secured and locked up, that where you could just reach your hand in and put your money in and take the item that you buy. Yeah. But that's exactly why they do that. Because they're afraid people would steal it or break it.
In China, in our highway, we always have the rest station there, and get just the petrol station and the restaurant, the bathroom, and maybe have some table outside, and somebody can have a rest there at the table. Always have worker at the rest station.
Yeah,
because the rest station, how to say, it's commercial.
Right.
The rest is they are making money from the from the driver, from our people.
Traveler.
Traveler,
yeah. And that's what happens with so all of the places you make a pit stop are usually commercial.
Commercial, yeah.
And the rest stops are government usually.
Government,
They're
okay.
run by the government.
Yeah.
So they don't have anybody that works there. They might have somebody that comes around and cleans the restrooms.
Okay.
But it's but he or she probably does mini rest stops.
Yeah. Because
And
the United States is so big and have a lot of highway. Yes, you always drive your car go between the each city. And
yes.
so in China, maybe I don't see any government offer the free rest station. I don't see it. Yes, always commercial.
Do they
But I think all commercial is okay
but
because the rest
yeah,
the food is okay, the best room is okay, and you can buy something in
right.
the convenience store.
And you need to, when I drive this, I can only drive it for about maybe 1.5 hours, and I have to get up and stretch my legs
Yeah,
and move around a little bit.
yeah.
And so they're very welcome. But in China, do people travel long distance in their car? I mean, China's really big. So do people usually take the train if they go a long way, correct?
Yeah, because
Or the plane.
yeah, because the cost for the highway is so expensive. So we don't have the long distance. Maybe the how to say let me check how to say. Uh, maybe some express company they need to, or something for delivery things. But our
Right.
common people don't drive along for the long distance. Yes. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
take the train.
Yeah.
We take train or plane. Yes, because I think it's more.
Right.
It need a lower time, a fewer time, and don't need such a lot of money. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So less time and less money,
Less time. Yeah.
especially on the train. And I think the train, 50 years ago, people in the United States used the train a lot more than they do now.
Yeah.
I enjoy going on a train, but we don't use it much in the States for people. For freight and materials, we use a lot of trains, but people, it's rare. But people still do it. It's not.
Yeah. So because yes, sometimes the United States people have a road trip because you have a vacation. And the whole family.
Right.
Yes, in a car, and maybe the road trip. It's how to say it's a part of the trip, a part of the traveling. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's the drive.
Yes, a family in a car have some conversation. Yes, I think it's a part of the travel.
Yes, very much so. And the car is such a part of the American culture.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody has a car, and so I think that's part of it too.
Yes, in China these days, when we go to other city, the first choice is for us is the high speed rail. High speed. It's really fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen pictures, and we can't even get a train. Like in San Antonio, the city I'm from. They have no train, system.
Whoa.
Nothing. No train system. Yeah. Like for travel, but and the high speed rail thing looks really cool.
Yeah.
It looks really nice. And my wife in Europe, they have a lot of trains. She used to go to school in the train.
Yeah. When I went to
no one in America goes to school.
Yeah, when I went to Germany the first time, I took the train, went to the company. at that time, wow, go get a train to company. Yeah, and maybe about 2060, the first time I take the high-speed train in the Germany. At that time I'm so surprised because it's really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in United States,
I guess
the plane or please.
yeah, the plane or the car, but I think in some cities like New York, they still take the train. And when we lived in New Jersey, we took the train to New York. Um, so that part of the country, I think they still have it. Some large cities have the metro, the subway
Metro,
type
subway,
train,
subway. Yeah, yeah,
but generally not as much.
yeah.
Generally not as much. Did you have any other questions on the
Let me check.
fitting machines?
Let me
Yeah, I think
check.
you're.
This one, the last one. Are we there yet? Because
Yeah, it's kind of I think that's supposed to put in the dialogue as kind of a joke, um,
joke.
a little bit of a little humor because this is what are we there yet? Is what little children always ask on a road trip. We
Okay.
drive for a little while. My boy will go, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Okay.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? How about now?
Okay.
Are we
I
there
got.
yet?" So I think
Okay.
it's just Kevin saying, I want to be there. I can't wait to get there.
Okay. Okay. So this phrase can be used for some situation about asking how long we will get there. So
Yeah,
or
it can be a serious question. It can be a normal question,
okay. Okay.
but it's usually said with a smile.
Smile.
Are we there yet?
Okay.
Are we there yet? Yeah,
Okay.
on a
Okay.
long trip, especially.
Okay.
Um,
Vocabulary is okay.
all right. I thought you might learn a lot with that one. Once I saw the dialogue, I was like, well, I bet you. All right. Do you want to go down to conversation?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, I think we've talked about number 2.
Yeah.
So do you drive to work now? Do you drive a
Yeah.
car?
Yeah. I drive to work. Yeah. It's about in the morning, maybe about 15 minutes. And
Oh, that's good.
when I and when I mm, maybe about 9 or 10 p.m. about 5 or 6 minutes. So I get
Oh,
home. Yeah,
you're very
it's not.
close. You're
Yeah,
very
yeah.
close.
Yes, it's very close.
Do
So
you,
sometimes I don't, but sometimes I don't want to drive a car because sometimes I like to use some apps in China, maybe similar like Uber, Uber,
oh,
you know.
yeah. Uber. Yeah, we have this.
Oh,
Yes.
Uber, yes, Uber.
Uber.
And sometimes
Yeah.
we use the apps to call some to call some cars because the cost is not very high. It's about maybe and maybe the how to say maybe the cost don't match that I drive car. Yes.
Yeah, right.
So
Do you have
sometimes
to pay for? Do you have to pay to park when you get to work? If you drive your car, do you have to pay
yeah
to park your car?
yeah
Yeah.
I need to pay
So
the car in my company. So sometimes I don't like to
yeah.
drive my car because if I take the Uber, so maybe I have about 10 or 15 minutes, so I can maybe learn some English on the car or have some reading on the car. Yeah.
Right. And you don't have to pay to park.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah.
In my last office job,
That's, yeah.
it would take me about 45 minutes to get to work, 40 minutes to drive.
Yeah.
And then coming home, it would sometimes take an hour and a half to drive.
1 hour or hour a half. Whoa.
Yeah, and it wasn't far. It was maybe 15 miles, which is how many kilometers is 15 miles?
So
it wasn't far.
So because
but the traffic was bad.
traffic, yes, because maybe in China, in big city, our colleague, some of my colleague in Beijing or Shanghai, they even my company in Shanghai or Beijing, the company is far away from the how to say city center. Is the company
right?
Even that some of my colleagues need to spend about 1 and 2 hours on the trip. So I think it's horrible.
Yeah, it was one of the things that made me want to retire and do this.
Yeah,
quite honestly. I mean, I spent 2 hours in the car every day, where I could have been home with my family, and I like to go to bed early. So that was even less time, right?
Yes. So in China, in the big city, they always the young people always need to spend 1 or 2 hours on the road, and every day, morning 2 hours, evening 2 hours, about 4 hours on the road, and even that they were their home in the because the how to say the price about the apartment in the big city is really expensive. Yes, so maybe you need to maybe you spend 1 hour 2 hours, and the price of the apartment is also very high. Yes, it's so expensive.
It's very similar in Washington D.C. For example. It's like that. Nobody can afford to actually live in a decent place in Washington D.C. unless you're very, very wealthy. And many people work there, but they have to go and commute for, like you said, 2 hours is not uncommon in Washington. For my friends that live out there, that's hard. When I was doing that, I had things like an app with books read out loud. The Audible books.
No, what is Audible?
It's in the United States. It's teamed up with Amazon, and it's books that it's books that people read. So they're reading it. I can listen to it. I can listen to it while I'm driving. So I would read. I would hear books. I would listen to books on my drive. But it was something to do. But it wasn't being with my family. So
yes. So I hate spend a long time on the road.
Yeah. I think you're very lucky with your distance to work. That's very good.
Yeah,
and
so sometimes
it's not at all. We hear what we hear. We hear.
So sometimes I talk with my colleague in Shanghai or Beijing. They when we saw this, they really how to say jealous on us.
Yeah, they're jealous. Yeah, they're jealous of you. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's really funny. So the big city always have the bad traffic. Yeah,
it does.
It's horrible.
It does. Yeah. So, Head, we did it again, my friend.
Yes, we'll see you.
It was a very enjoyable lesson. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Take care. Stay warm. Stay warm.
Okay.
All right.
You too. You need to drive more.
Okay.
Okay,
take,
see
take
you.
care. Bye bye.
Bye.